God is calling you right now. Will you pause and listen? Have you ever wondered why your life had to fall apart the way it did? Why the people you trusted walked away? Why opportunities slipped through your hands? Why you had to sit in the ruins of what you once called your future? What if I told you none of it was by accident? What if I told you the very ashes you're sitting in right now are about to reveal the greatest transformation of your life? Stay with me because in a moment you'll discover why God allowed the fire, why He didn't stop the breaking, and why your story is about to shock even you. There are moments in life when everything you once held close seems to vanish in the fire of trial. The plans you carefully built collapse. The relationships you trusted dissolve. The dreams you nurtured are suddenly reduced to fragments. What remains are ashes. Cold, lifeless, discouraging ashes. They do not sparkle. They do not shine. They simply remind you of what used to be. You look at them and wonder if you have reached the end of your story. Yet, in the silence of that despair, God speaks a different word. He says the ashes are not your conclusion. They are your beginning. They are not a gravestone. They are the soil of transformation. Ashes do not attract admiration. No one looks at ashes and celebrates them. They are ugly, dark, and they cling stubbornly to your hands when you try to brush them away. They smell of failure, of loss, of regret. But the mystery of God is that He chooses what the world despises to show what He can create. The ashes of your life, the very things you wish had never happened, are the things God chooses as raw material for a new season. He has promised to give beauty for ashes, strength for weakness, joy for mourning. He has not abandoned you to sit in the dust. He has declared that you will rise. There is fear in the ashes because you think you will be stuck there forever. Days blur into nights, and nights blur back into days, until it feels as though the sorrow has become permanent. But what feels endless is only temporary. The fire did not come to destroy you. It came to refine you. Every flame that touched your life burned away what could not last. What remains in the ashes is what can never be taken. That is why you are still breathing. That is why you are still here. Because the fire was not stronger than the purpose God placed inside of you. When everything familiar falls apart, you begin to discover truths you never saw before. You realize that possessions can vanish, positions can be stripped away, people can walk out, but God remains. His presence does not wither when circumstances do. He is the God who sat with Job in his loss, who walked with Shadrach in the furnace, who restored Israel after exile, who raised his son after death. And if He did it for them, He will do it for you. Your ashes are not evidence of defeat. They are evidence that you are on the threshold of renewal. Do not despise the season of ashes. As uncomfortable as it is, it carries the seeds of your rising. When you feel buried under grief or disappointment, remember that seeds are also buried. No one celebrates when a seed is pushed into dark soil. It looks like an ending, but hidden in that soil is transformation. A seed dies to itself in order to become something greater. The soil presses on it. The darkness surrounds it. But in that hidden place, roots begin to form. And soon, what was buried breaks through the surface into life. Your ashes are that soil. What you thought was burying you is really planting you. The nights you lay awake asking why, the tears that wet your pillow, the silence that made you wonder if heaven had gone quiet, those were not wasted. They were watering your future. They were loosening the hard ground of your heart, so that when God's word came, it could take root. You may not have seen it, but beneath the surface change was happening. You were being prepared, positioned, strengthened. You were being emptied so you could be filled again, this time with something richer and deeper than before. When God speaks into ashes, things shift. His voice does not consult your circumstances. His word is creative, not reactive. He looked at darkness and said, "Let there be light," and light appeared. In the same way, he looks at your ashes and says, "Rise," and life stirs again. He calls you chosen when others call you rejected. He calls you appointed when you feel disqualified. He calls you beloved when you feel abandoned. His word is stronger than your feelings, stronger than your past, stronger than the ashes themselves. But rising is not only about hearing his word. It is about moving in response. If you remain seated in the ashes, you will begin to believe they belong to you. Rising requires action. One step, one choice, one decision to move forward, even when you still feel broken. It does not have to be dramatic. Forgive someone. Try again. Open your heart. Apply again. Begin again. Rising is not about leaping into perfection. It is about refusing to stay where you are. Every step you take loosens the grip of the ashes. They cling to you, yes, but they cannot bind you if you refuse to sit still. At first your movements feel small, almost invisible. But do not underestimate the power of small beginnings. Every giant oak began as a seed. Every roaring fire began with a spark. Every rising begins with a step. Along the way, resistance will come. The ashes will whisper reminders of failure. Fear will try to convince you that you are wasting your time. People may laugh, doubt, or discourage. But every whisper of doubt is a sign that you are moving. Resistance does not come to those who are standing still. It comes to those who are advancing. And as you continue to rise, you discover that what tried to hold you down only strengthened your resolve. You will stumble. You will fall. You will question whether you are making progress. But stumbling forward is still movement forward. Falling does not mean you are back at the beginning. The fact that you got up once means you can get up again. Every stumble makes you steadier. Every fall teaches you balance. Every challenge builds your resilience. Slowly, you begin to notice a change. You are not the same person who lay among the ashes. You are wiser. You are stronger. You are more aware of what matters and what does not. The fire that produced the ashes burned off illusions. It refined your values. It forced you to see clearly what you once ignored. And that clarity is priceless. It becomes the compass that guides your next season. The ashes themselves begin to change meaning. At first, they symbolized loss. Now they symbolize survival. At first, they seemed to mock you. Now, they remind you that you endured. They are no longer evidence of what you lost. They are proof of what you overcame. They have become part of your testimony. And from that testimony comes transformation. Transformation is not pretending the fire never happened. It is acknowledging it and showing how it could not destroy you. It is turning scars into stories, pain into power, wounds into wisdom. Transformation is wealth, not just money, though opportunities often follow, but wealth of mind, wealth of soul, wealth of vision. You become rich in gratitude, rich in perspective, rich in resilience. People are drawn to transformed lives. They want to hear the story of how you stood again, how you built again, how you believed again. Your voice carries authority because it comes from lived experience. You are no longer speaking theory. You are speaking truth carved by fire. That authority cannot be purchased. It is forged in ashes. Everything you thought was wasted now reveals its purpose. The closed doors redirected you. The betrayals taught you discernment. The failures prepared you for greater victories. Nothing was wasted. Every tear, every disappointment, every loss, they were all part of the shaping. This is your rising. Not timid, not half-hearted, but bold. This is your phoenix moment. You will not return to who you were before. You will become someone entirely new. The ashes that seemed to mark the end are the very ashes from which you soar. And you will not only rise, you will soar higher than before. Because what has been through the fire cannot be burned the same way again. You are stronger now, refined now, unshakable now. Your rising is not just about you. It will ripple into the lives of others. People will watch and be inspired. Those who doubted will reconsider. Those who were hopeless will believe again. Your life will speak louder than any sermon. It will prove that God does not waste pain, that He specializes in bringing beauty from ashes, that He always has the final word. The fire could not end you. The ashes could not hold you. And the story is still unfolding. The rising has begun. You have walked through fire, and yet here you are. The ashes tried to mark your ending, but God has declared your rising. Nothing you've lost will be wasted, and nothing broken will remain broken in His hands. The same power that turned graves into gardens, that turned mourning into dancing, is breathing into your life right now. Do not mistake these ashes for your identity. They are only the evidence of what you survived. What defines you is the rising that follows. You are not finished. You are being rebuilt. You are being restored. You are being prepared for heights you cannot even imagine yet. This is not the time to shrink back into the dust. This is the time to stand. This is the moment to rise. Because God is not just giving you back what you lost. He is preparing to multiply it to elevate you, and to make your life a testimony of His power. So walk out of the ashes with courage. Step into the new chapter with faith. And never forget, your greatest victories are not behind you. They are ahead of you.